And Mr. President, no one has paid the price like you have paid the price. It almost cost you your life. You were betrayed and arrested and falsely accused. It's a familiar pattern that our Lord and Savior showed us. But it didn't end there for him, and it didn't end there for you. God always had a plan. On the third day, he rose, he defeated evil, he conquered death, hell, and the grave. And because he rose, we all know that we can rise. And sir, because of his resurrection, you rose up. Because he was victorious, you were victorious. And I believe that the Lord said to tell you this. Because of his victory, you will be victorious in all you put your hand to.
Breaking news, Trump is now openly attacking the Pope and referring to himself as God, literally depicting himself as Jesus Christ. He posted this AI-generated photo on his Truth Social moments ago. I'm not joking, go check it out for yourself. Inside of this photo, he is wearing red and white robes, which are typically used in modern-day depictions of Jesus Christ. And inside of this photo, he's also using what seem to be divine powers to heal a sick man. This is without question him depicting himself as the Christian God. Trump posted that photo moments after he posted this rant attacking the Pope, saying that he likes the Pope's brother much more because he's MAGA, saying that he doesn't want a Pope who will criticize him. Then also goes on to say that Leo is weak and says that the only reason why Leo is Pope is because of him. This is undoubtedly sacrilegious, and if it was anybody but Trump, it would be the unquestioned end of their political career, considering the fact that around 70% of Americans are Christian. In fact, according to the Christian worldview, not only is this extremely heretical, but blasphemous. That's all for now. I'll keep you updated as we learn more.
Be not deceived. God is not mocked. I want to start by giving all honor, all praise, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Arachak Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and bishops, the great millstone that rule well. As always, peace, blessings, and salutations to the tabernacle of David, the for elect, scattered abroad across the four winds of the earth. You know, this man just won't stop, you know. He's, the whole world is in shambles. And somehow, some way, they think that they're making progress. Like they're really on the verge of, taking the victory. And this level of exaltation, elevation, we all know what this means. The Lord is not too kind to, man getting this type of, praise and exaltation. Yahweh Shai is sitting on the right hand of glory. And I know he can't wait until his father finally, sends him down to do the honors. But the Lord is he's very patient. Us down here, we got to deal with this, and I'm pretty sure, the true believers, you get agitated when you see stuff like this. But the Lord is just allowing this man. This is the man of sin. He has to be revealed, and it's happening in his time. This is part of Esau's end. All right, he has to be exposed, and then the Lord's going to basically bring him into judgment. So the way that this devil's been operating and moving, and they trying to position themselves like they're the fulfillment of Bible prophecy. They're setting up this holy war. Trump is going to be the guy, that's going to, grant the imposters over there this, victory, this victorious win in this so-called holy war. They're going to build this third temple and all blase, blase. And this is just them, like it says in Psalms, the second chapter. Why do the heathen rage? Why do they imagine a vain thing? So this man Trump, he has that God complex and this high level of pride for a reason. And let me get 2 Timothy. Because Trump, and then how the hell do you have beef with the Pope now? So now, because he doesn't agree with this war, nobody agrees with it. And because it doesn't coincide with the agenda of your overlords, you're threatening the Pope, and then now you're making mockery. Now the Pope, he's a demon too. The Vatican, that's a whole nother lesson in itself. But this just goes to show you that these people, they're really losing it, man. They're losing the plot, man. And then a lot of you Christians, I'm sure, the things that you've been seeing, it got y'all in shambles too, because y'all actually believed in all of this. You really have faith in this society. But we've been telling you this is an ungodly society. The Lord ain't dealing with this place. He's not dealing with America, Babylon. All right? He's not dealing with the Pope. He ain't dealing with none of this. So now you finding out. But anyway, let me get 2 Timothy 3, because, this would be considered sacrilege. We're going to get it in the NLT. And it says, verse 1, you should know this, Timothy, that in the last days there will be very difficult times. For people will love only themselves and their money. And you can't tell me Trump doesn't love himself. All right. He demands for you to worship him. All right. And having, the Paula White Canes of the world, having these these fake Christians, with these fake prophecies, trying to really hero this guy, like he's some type of demigod, like the guy that probably he made his little prediction about Trump and that whole situation where they attempted to assassinate him, and that whole shit was staged. Because how would he have known months before it happened? So, when all these things are set up for you to be, this high regarded divine entity that's here to save the day, but all you do, everything that you put in your hands to is turning, it's just like the businesses that you once had and they all failed. Everything that you put in your hands to do is all a failure. But you're supposed to be this God or this messianic like figure. This guy is highly delusional, and the people that support him are highly delusional. All right. It says they will be boastful and proud. Donald Trump is clearly proud, scoffing at the Most High, and this, in a way, is mocking the Most High, because now you're betraying yourself in AI form. And really, because that depiction, like what he has on and all that, we usually see that with the fake depiction, where they covered the face of the ultimate judge, and they put up an Edomite's face, and they always have him in that little, that outfit that he has, the red and the white. No, Yahweh Shai, that wasn't him. But that's supposed to be a depiction, of who they call the Messiah. And this is really just a mockery. So he's, poking at, the Pope, but he's really scoffing. And he really believes that he's like heavenly sent. He really believes this. So we already know how this is going to end, because it never ends for people who's exalted like this. Whether other people do it or whether you do it yourself. It says, disobedient to their parents and ungrateful, they will consider nothing sacred. All right. So that's straight up madness, what this man is doing. But we also can't forget, though, when this man was sworn in at the Capitol Rotunda, where did they inaugurate him? When he was sworn in, where did they do it? They did it right up under the apotheosis of Washington. And, right up above, it's like a fresco painting, and it has, all these idols up there. And when you're being sworn up under there, it's supposed to symbolize you being, elevated into like a divine figure. Like, you look up the word here, apotheosis is derived from Greek for to make a god of. And like when you vote for these guys, what the word vote in itself, it literally means to make a vow to a god. Let me do this. Let's look up that word vote. And it says, formal expression of one's wish or choice with regard to a proposal, candidate, etc. From Latin votum, a vow, wish, promise to a god. Okay. So you voted for this man, then he gets sworn in under the apotheosis of Washington, which apotheosis derived from Greek for to make a god of, refers to the elevation of a human to divine status, deification, or the highest, most perfect point of development. So they really believe that, through this administration and what they're trying to accomplish, that this will be the apex. This will be, the highest, most perfect point. Though his excellency reach unto the clouds, right? Let's go to Job. And at the same time, this man is also trying to set up a ark for himself. So yeah, this is how you know this man is he's finna fall completely on his face. Job 20 and verse 4 through 5, it says, knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment? It's only going to be for a moment, because there's going to be an epic fail. All right, and Babylon is going to lose drastically. All right, they saying that he got hours because he made another threat about blocking the Strait of Hormuz. That's going to end disastrous, and everybody's going to suffer as a result. All right, China just slipped something to Iran, and so now it's going to get crazy. But this man, he's sitting ringside at a UFC fight still. Like, I'm showing you, he got to be Nero coming back without a care in the world. He just relaxed while everything is just falling apart. but he's assuring everybody that they're winning. So he's crashing out until the very end. It says, though his excellency mount up to the heavens and his head reach unto the clouds, yet he shall perish forever like his own dung. They which have seen him shall say, where is he? So, you're going to see him in this position, see him in his place, and then, everything's going to happen so fast, and then you're going to see again and see that this man is nowhere to be found. He's not going to be in position. All right, because Yahweh Shai, all right, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, he's going to come down, he's going to put down all authority and rule. Okay, because he's the only one to be exalted. The Lord is the one who raised him up and exalted him, with his right hand. So now he sits upon the right hand of the throne of the Lord. He's the one to be exalted, to be highly praised. Okay, not this orange devil of a bundle of sticks, man. All right. So it says, though his excellency mount up to the heavens. So let's look up that word excellency. Because he's gonna set it all up. The Genesis mission, Stargate. He got all these projects going. 6G. So he really thinks that he's setting it himself up. And it says in the Hebrew, Shaya, and it says by permutation, elevation. And then it says here, loftiness of pride. So you see that it says elevation. And then going back here, this is what he was sworn up under the apotheosis of Washington, showing you that Babylon has been proud, been super proud, have been proud against the Holy One of the Lord. So it says, going back, it says, refers to the elevation of a human to divine status. So Trump is trying to say they're in their excellency. He's in his excellency. You might as well treat him like he's the Messiah. All right, that he's the one granted to bring salvation to the world, and they're gonna set up a technocracy. See, the Lord, he actually came and healed with hands. He really laid hands on people and authentically healed them through the spirit of the power of the Holy Spirit. This man wants to use technology, microchips and stuff. This is insanity. But you Christians, y'all rally behind this guy. Y'all said he was the one. So let's go from there to because the Lord gonna get his just due, man. He gonna get his respect. Let's go to Isaiah 2:11. And it says, the lofty looks of man shall be humbled, and the haughtiness of men shall be bowed down, and the Lord alone shall be exalted in that day. Because right now, come on, man. People ain't forget that damn soon. You deep all throughout them Epstein files. All right, we already know what type of individuals these people are. They're the vilest people on planet Earth. And it tells you that even in the Psalms, was it the 12th chapter around the last verse? The wicked walk on every side when the vilest man is exalted. So, you got all these, child sacrificing, blood drinking, PDFs, and they worship Satan and Baal and, all these false gods. And then, they use witchcraft and enchantment on the world. But these are the people that are exalted. So no wonder why the vibration of the world is vile. But the Lord did say that he was going to lift up the skirts. And he said that he would he would cast abominable filth upon thee and make thee vile in a gazing stock. You're a global embarrassment. You would think by now that these Christians would stop aiming at us, because we've been trying to warn everybody. Why ain't y'all vocab? You gonna attack Trump? Because they try to argue us down about, whether the Lord is a so-called black man or not, and, going into the book of Revelation and, trying to say that, it doesn't mean that he's black, so-called black man, this, that, and third is symbolic, and, it doesn't mean what y'all say it mean. You're not supposed to have those images up. That's idolatry and this and that. But look at what Trump just did. He used AI and depicted himself. And I guarantee you, none of y'all gonna make any videos, and you ain't gonna say a damn word. But you Christians been going out real sad, because the Lord ain't dealing with you, man. They bombing the hell out of Lebanon, and it's a lot of Christians in Lebanon. But hey, because it's Israel involved, so maybe there's something to it. You're gonna make a justification for them genociding. Like, that's why the Lord, man, he gonna settle everything when he returns. Because all you people need to shut the hell up. It says, for the day of the Lord of hosts shall be upon everyone that is proud and lofty, and upon everyone that is lifted up, and he shall be brought low. All right. And everything that's exalted, everything that's getting all this praise, the Lord's going to bring them low, man. We know Herod, the Lord, he set an example with Herod. When Herod, he tried to play that position, like he was a divine being, and the crowd was praising this guy. What did the Lord do to him? This is Acts 12 and starting at the 20th verse. And it says, and Herod was highly displeased with them of Tyre and Sidon, but they came with one accord to him, and having made Blastus, the king's chamberlain, their friend, desired peace, because their country was nourished by the king's country. And upon a set day, Herod, arrayed in royal apparel, sat upon his throne and made an oration unto them. He gave them a speech, just like Trump be giving his speeches. And nowadays, this dude just be rambling and talking a bunch of shit and not making any sense, not answering direct questions, filibustering. But he always make a way to exalt himself in his speeches. It says, and the people gave a shout saying, it is the voice of a God and not of a man. And that's what they're trying to say. Trump is some divine figure. But they're using him for the transition into this whole new world agenda, the new world order. They're trying to give life unto the image of the beast, and they're going to want you to worship it. All right, but the Lord's going to destroy the beast, his image, the false prophet that co-signs on the image. It says, and immediately the angel, and then I see the symbolism, the hidden symbolism as well, because him being depicted as one that's healing the sick, that's just them basically telling you, hey, we're going to roll out a system where we're going to be doing the miracles. They're basically saying that this AI transformation, the transhumanism, all right, the fourth industrial revolution, this is what's going to bring healing into the world. We're going to perform divine healing and miracles. And that's 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter. This is the mystery of iniquity working. Even he who's coming is after the working of Satan with all power, signs, and lying wonders. All right. The brain computer interfaces. We're going to improve people's memory. People going to be able to control other technology with their brain. Play video games with your brain. We're going to be able to help paraplegics walk. So it's already being set up. All right. And some people going to say, oh, Trump, he's the Antichrist. I don't know how many times we got to, set the record straight, but there's many anti-messiahs. It ain't just going to be one individual with a suit. All right. It's a spirit. And everybody that's really coming against the true prophets of the Lord, and you going against, the doctrine, the true gospel, you in the spirit of Antichrist, anti-Messiah. It says, and immediately the angel of the Lord smote him because he gave not glory. It's like because he gave not the Most High power the glory. And he was eating of worms and gave up the ghost. All right. So we know what the Lord does to men when they're exalted like that. Let's go to Proverbs 18 and 12. And it says, before destruction, the heart of man is haughty, and before honor is humility. All right. And this man is very haughty, man. So you're going to depict yourself as an AI Messiah. Then you're setting up a ark. It says, as of April 2026, the Trump administration has unveiled designs for a proposed 250-foot triumphal ark to be built in Washington, D.C., commemorating the nation's 250th anniversary. And you're getting ready to fall hard because, that's usually the duration of an empire. They usually reign 250 years, and then it nosedive. All right. So at the height of their whole shit, this is where they want to, elevate. Where, they believe that they're reaching their excellency. And now is your time to actually fall, man. It says to be built in Washington, D.C., commemorating the nation's 250th anniversary, often referred to as the Ark de Trump. The structure is planned for Columbia Island near the Lincoln Memorial and Arlington National Ceremony. It's like your cemetery, featuring gold accents, statues, and a design similar to the Arc de Triomphe in Paris. Come on, man. So the Lord is not with this place. He's gonna flat out wipe it out. All right, and the Lord said that he's gonna cut off all your standing images. All your temples of Baal, all the symbols. We know Washington, D.C. in itself, just the way the streets are routed. You look up, from an aerial view, and you can see the satanic symbolism. All right, it's all part of the witchcraft. All right, she's like Nineveh is known as the mistress of witchcrafts. Is Micah 5:12, and I'm pretty sure that image is also to invoke, enchantment as well. All right, But the Lord says, stand now with thine enchantments. All right. You think you're going to prevail? Well, let's see. This is Micah 5:12. It says, and I will cut off witchcrafts out of thine hand, and thou shalt have no more soothsayers. You know, the Paula Whites and all these fake pastors and advisors. They all are a bunch of witches, man. It says, thy graven images also will I cut off. You know, now they could do it in AI form, but all that's going to get taken care of too on the day of the Lord. We don't have to worry about AI in our world, in our kingdom. All right, all that's going to get cut off. It says, and thy standing images, your arcs, your Washington monuments, you know, your statues of you know, evil men that you erect in honor of, you know, murderous, genocidal, you know, men. It says, and thy standing images out of the midst of thee, and thou shalt no more worship the work of thine hands. And I will pluck up thy groves out of the midst of thee, so will I destroy thy cities. And I will execute vengeance and anger and fury upon the heathen, such as they have not heard. And that's when the Lord shows up, when he judges and makes war. Because all has got to be put to an end. It's too much. You know, the fats overflow, for the wickedness is great. So only he now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. You know? So and he's finna be taken out in his season. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob's beginning that follows. And Esau, he's doing the most right now. And remember, the Lord said that, you know, there would be you know, false prophets, false messiahs, you know, that will raise up in the last days. And this is Matthew 24. And I'll start at 21 because we definitely heading into the days of tribulation. We're already there. All right. And if you don't agree with that, then just, you know, give it a little more time, because you're going to start to feel it. It's going to feel like, you know, shit is definitely not right. You know, you're seeing the energy change in the people not showing any compassion on each other. People are very quick and impulsive. You know, they're incontinent. They have no self-control. So people are just killing each other over nothing. It's just a shift of energy. So we clearly are in that time of tribulation, Jacob's trouble. All right, the military draft. It's going to be a shortage of men out here. It's going to be famine. So it says, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days shall be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. And that's why the times are being sped up. You know, weekends are starting to go by like your 15-minute breaks at work. You know, you barely, it's not even enough time to recover before you have to return back to the plantation. You don't even feel rested heading back to work, you know, Monday morning. I'm up now, and I know right after I'm done with this, I got to go and get dressed and, you know, pack a lunch and do all this other stuff, man. So we hastening for the Lord to come back so that we can be delivered up out of this hellhole. All right. It says, then if any man shall say unto you, lo, here is the anointed, or there, believe it not. You know, they've been trying to promote this guy like he's some messianic figure. All right. Like he's anointed. For there shall arise false anointeds and false prophets, and shall shew great signs and wonders. All right. And they're trying to, you know, usher in this new system. And you got the priestess and the prophets and priests on the left-hand side that's trying to basically herald in this system, this new image, and trying to say that AI is basically God, and it's going to bring salvation to humanity, and they're going to be able to do their left-hand pseudo miracles. All right. It says in so much that if it were possible, they should deceive the very elect. All right. So the Lord, he already gave the warning. All right. This man ain't no damn Messiah. He's single-handedly destroying an entire empire. You know, he's bringing it down, you know, to dust. So, you know, be not deceived. All right. But hey, the Lord got their number already. You know, like, and that's why the scriptures say, he that is slow to wrath is, you know, is of understanding, you know, like these type of things agitate you, but we already know, you know, what's written for the wicked. It's not going to end well for them. The Lord God, he got some fire reserved for them. So he's going to let them prosper in their way just for a little bit. The joy of the hypocrite is but for a moment. Okay? The joy of the hypocrite is but for a moment. All right? The triumph of the wicked is definitely short. So that's pretty much the lesson. You know, I just had to reply to this. And hopefully y'all were edified. I'm going to give all honor, all praise, and glory to the true power, Yahweh Bahashim HaMashiach Yahweh Shai. The ones to the elder apostles and bishops of the great millstone. Peace and blessings to the elect. Shalom.